Hey, what's going on, everybody? Want to thank you for checking out the channel. Um, this will be my first video on this journey of card collecting. They say, I guess, a journey starts with a single step, so I guess this is step number one. So I appreciate you going on this ride with me. It is probably going to be a bumpy ride to begin with because I have no idea what I'm doing. Um, it's nerve wracking. I'm nervous as all get out right now. I'm just going to be honest with you. Um, I see all these guys on YouTube, Jabs and Mike, baseball collector, and Andy from She Blinded Me with Refractors, and Lou from Wax Pack Poetic. Just, I mean, I watch their videos and it's just effortless for them. I mean, it's just like talking to an old friend. And I don't know how they do it now because when that little red light's on, it's uncomfortable, at least right now. So hopefully things will get better, get a little smoother as we kind of make our way uh, through this crazy world of card collecting and making videos and just having a good time together. As you can see, I'm not prepared at all to make this first video, not in the slightest. Um, I'm in my wife's craft room right now where she has all of her girly things, ribbon and bows and vinyl makers, and just, yeah, not prepared at all for this first video. But the reason why I'm doing it, I got some great advice. I was able to talk with Mike, as I mentioned before, and Andy and Lou last night on Mike's YouTube channel, Baseball Collector, and he had kind of an open mic night where he let folks come on and talk about talk about the hobby and kind of get to know kind of where everybody's at with their collecting. Kind of what they enjoy about the hobby, what their focus is, and gave me some really good advice. But the main thing they said is, you got to start. You got to start. Luckily, we had a couple of folks that put some comments in that said that they would subscribe. So hey, let's do it. I can create a set or a backdrop anytime. So let's make this first video because I think the first one's the hardest one to do. And if you've got any experience doing YouTube videos and uploading, you know what I'm talking about. It's nerve wracking. So I just wanted to come on, introduce myself, kind of give you a little bit of background of me and um, my collecting story and how it kind of took a hiatus for about 23, 24 years and kind of what got me back in it. First of all, my name is Joey. I live in Georgia. I know you probably can't tell that from my accent, but I'm from the South, Perry, Georgia to be exact. It's right in the center of the state. We're about an hour, 45 minutes south of Atlanta. So I'm a huge Braves fan, absolutely monstrous Braves fan, rabid Braves fan, and starting to get used to getting my heart broken a little bit. We had our nice run in the 90s where we still only managed one world championship, but a lot of playoff experience, just not a lot of rings. So hopefully we look like we're kind of on the upward swing again. So hopefully we'll be able to add to our world titles over the next few years. But I have a wife, Lacey, 14 years married. We celebrated our 14th anniversary in July. We have a 6-year-old son. His name is Grady, and he's in kindergarten this year and loves the game of baseball. Loves the game of baseball. And hopefully one day he'll love collecting cards as well, because that's something I've always looked forward to doing with him, kind of together as a father-son thing. So we're hoping that'll all work out, and he'll love it as much as I did. But my story of collecting kind of really goes back to the late '80s, kind of in the days where there wasn't a lot of value to card collecting at all. The junk wax era, I guess it's come to be known. It's kind of why I named my channel Don't Call My Wax Junk, because I look back at that time very fondly, and hope to share some stories and share some cards on the channel here that from that era that are meaningful, and just kind of tell those stories. So we're going to start that today. In just a minute, I've got a couple of cards I want to share with you. But like I said, late 80s, probably 88, 89 was my first my first years where I vividly remember cards. Like getting the 88 score set, like as horrible as that set is now, looking back, it was a thrill to get that complete set, like as a Christmas present. 88 Topps, same thing. Those were my first two sets that I just vividly remember sorting and going through and putting in albums, and just when that love kind of first grabs you, that first that passion of card collecting kind of first gets a hold of you, and you remember that. You remember your first loves. You do. But that love only grew stronger over the next few years into the 90s. Became a teenager, and then it just, I was obsessed. Me and my buddies were just very rabid when it came to our collecting. I can remember we had a social studies teacher, I think it was, in high school, that was a big collector, and I'm pretty sure this is not legal now, but he would bring wax boxes to school, and he would sell us packs during break right out of his classroom. So fairly sure there's some ethical things involved there, but I am in education. I'm a middle school assistant principal, so you can imagine my days are full of entertainment every day. But it was, collecting was my life for a long time. It really was, as a kid. And as you get into college and involved in all that comes with being a college student, and I did the fraternity thing in college, and it just, cards became a distant memory really quickly. And before I knew it, I was completely out. Didn't buy cards. Matter of fact, as ashamed as I am to admit this, probably over the course of that 4 years of college, traded off all my baseball cards for, I don't know, video game stuff maybe. I don't know. I got rid of all my cards in college. I left college with like nothing related to cards. And I kick myself all the time for that. And maybe some of you out there have stories that are similar, where you just, for some reason, you let them go. And I hate that, because I really had a great collection that I had built up for myself, and love lost, I guess. But I had a friend in particular that he and I were best buddies in high school. We kind of did everything together, went everywhere together. And we were both big collectors together as well. So our two cards that were kind of our dream cards that neither one of us ever owned when we were kids were these two cards here, and I'm just going to hold them up and show you. First one I think everybody will recognize pretty quickly. It's this guy right here, the 89 Upper Deck Ken Griffey Jr. rookie card. Card number 1 in the very first set of Upper Deck ever. It's almost kind of like they knew he was going to be a big deal, right? And this was, we would dream about this card and owning it at the time. And man, this card and this one. So this is the 1990 Leaf Frank Thomas rookie card. These were the two cards, guys. These were the two that we absolutely obsessed over getting. I mean, to the point where, I mean, these were two of the, if not the two best baseball players in the world during the 1990s. And these were their two most famous cards, at least at the time. And man, we would envision, going up to some dive convenience store and walking in, and them just happen to have two boxes, a box of 89 Upper Deck and a box of 90 Leaf, and we pull these two cards out. And I mean, that's how ridiculous that we were, and how we daydreamed about these cards. And so I got them because that same buddy was in my wedding. I got married in 2005, and he was in my wedding, and guess what his gift was? Just a tremendous story. He gave me the two cards that we dreamed about as kids as a wedding gift, and I'll never forget that. It was a great gift. So for a long time, these were the two cards I owned, and then about 6 months ago. So this is not a story of years. This is just a few months ago. I had a good friend of mine now. He's actually a teacher at my school. He said, "Hey, listen, I need some help clearing out some things from my wife's grandmother's house. Can you give me a hand?" And I said, "Sure, we'll go check it out." And on the way up, he kind of said, "So here's the story. It's my wife's grandmother's house, but her brother lived with her for years, and he's passed away, and they just need to get some stuff cleaned out of the attic. It's an attic story. Go figure." So we get there, and we go upstairs into this attic, and this guy was a collector of all kind of things. I think he was kind of a dealer, a collectible dealer of some kind, because he had all kinds of, he had like Beanie Babies were huge for a while. He had these collectible, like collector plates, porcelain plates, and then he had boxes and boxes of cards, complete sets that were that he was selling together, and then tons of wax boxes, and all the cards were like from the mid-90s, like the time where I was like the most obsessed. I'd say probably 92, 93, 94, 95. I don't think there was anything past 95 in there. But we just boxed all of those cards up, and we brought them back to his house and invited some other buddies to come over, and man, we just had a ripping party. I mean, it was tremendous, and it just made me realize in that moment, just that sense of nostalgia that you get, how much I loved doing this, when I was a kid. And I guess when you start getting older, you start really reflecting back on those feelings and the things that you love so much, and you want to try to live as much of those kind of days as you can. Midlife crisis, I don't know what it is, but we had so much fun, and found just all kinds of cards, and oh goodness, the highlight of that story is we didn't have enough time to open all the cards, and there was that many boxes and packs, and there was probably 5 or 6 of us just steady ripping, and hey, check this card out, check that card out, and trying to put sets together and on the fly and stuff like that, and we just didn't get through all of them. And so a couple of weeks later, he calls me up and says, "Hey, I don't have room for all these cards and stuff. Do you want them?" So he brings them all over to me, even the stuff that we didn't get a chance to rip open. And one of those things was a box of 92 score packs, one box, Series 1. And if you remember anything about Series 1 from 92, it was the Joe DiMaggio inserts, where you could find either an insert card, or maybe that insert card had a Joe D autograph on it. And I mean, that was, even in the day, it was unthinkable that you would ever own one of those. And so I was just looking at that box and thought, what if I open this thing up and hit one of those Joe DiMaggio autographs, and how crazy that would be, right? So I kid you not, halfway through the box, and I'm gonna show you a picture of it. I don't have the card anymore, and we're gonna go into why later in another video. But for the sake of this story, just know that about halfway through the box, I open a pack and I see a Joe DiMaggio insert card. And I don't know if you've seen the movie Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, when Charlie finds finally finds the golden ticket. You know, he's got his chocolate bar and he's peeling it back just a little bit at a time, and finally there's the moment and you see the golden ticket inside. I see that Joe DiMaggio and I turn it around real slowly, and boom, right there in beautiful blue ink, it's Joe DiMaggio's autograph. And that's why I'm here right now, y'all. That feeling, that elation just re-sparked and rekindled every bit of what I had when I was a kid, and I'm in now. I'm in. So I just wanted to kind of get on here, make this first video, introduce myself to you. Maybe you've got stories like this too. Feel free to share them, leave some comments. Obviously love to have you subscribe. Click the like button, subscribe to the channel. We'll try to get on here to start with once or twice a week, and kind of build up a little bit of a following, and hopefully share some stories and share some cards and figure out what we're going to do. It's kind of fun. It's kind of scary at the same time. So, but we'll do it together. And I appreciate you hanging in there with me tonight and listening to me ramble. Seeing you, hearing from you as we move forward. Everybody take care now.